Most people believe in some fictitious entity within. So this line is there to challenge that. All that you have within is your own processes. There is nothing called a soul within. There is nothing called a flying jivatma within. Just catch yourself in the moment. Moments and episodes of uncertainty does feel like having something to lean on, right? And prayers to heavenly powers fill that vacuum, that requirement, no?
Yeah.
If I have to bank on something, why must that something be outside of me?
It seems easy to bank on something outside.
In your moments of dependency, you can cultivate habits and commit relationships. Future always remains uncertain, and it does scare one sometimes. Probably the statement then is देखा जाएगा. The deadlifter.
Thank you, Acharya Ji. So I had a question about the fact that whenever I have any problem in my life, general problem, my one go-to person is my mom in general. And whenever I tell her, okay, I have this problem that, say for example, I'm working on my startup. Currently, it's a deep tech startup that I'm looking for VC funds or like something of that sort, and the response is not so enthusiastic. And then she's like, okay, I'll pray to this and this god, and then like for example, like she prayed XYZ, and then this thing happened. She gives a lot of example like this, and then for a moment it gives me a mental peace that okay, whatever the result may be, I'll work for it. I know it doesn't work like that. I need to work for the things that I'm working, and I still need to work on that, improve on things. But for the moment, it gives me a mental peace that okay, things will happen. But is that mental peace fine for me? Because I know that's not how things works. Or I should still struggle or not, think of it like, okay, let's just be.
In moments and episodes of uncertainty, one does feel like having something to lean on, right?
Yeah.
And prayers to heavenly powers fill that vacuum, that requirement, no?
Yes.
There has to be something on bank on.
Yeah.
Maybe some lord, some power up there is there to take care of me, such things. So the thing that you lean on, why can't it be your own strength, right? Why can't it be the statement, come what may, I'll be all right? Won't that be equally adequate to provide peace? You see, one statement is, if there is adversity in the future, there is some great mighty power outside of me to support.
Yeah.
That's statement one. Statement two, in case of adversity in the future, I am all right enough and sufficient. I don't need anybody. Even in the worst of situations, I'll be internally okay. Come what may, there is something within that cannot be taken away.
Right.
I mean, both statement one and statement two give you something to feel assured about. But probably statement two is more inner, more intrinsic, therefore more dependable. If I have to bank on something, why must that something be outside of me? Why can't it be something
Inside of me.
inside of me, within me?
Yeah. But I think question comes from the fact that it seems easy to bank on something outside. Seems
Really,
easier.
really. You are banking on something outside of you. You have no idea, no knowledge of. All that you have is imagination.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you are somebody you have first-hand contact with.
But I think I'm talking about like momentary sort of banging on, not like for a longer
Yeah,
time.
but then, in your moments of dependency, you can cultivate habits and commit relationships, and that can last dangerously long and get dangerously deep. So yes, future always remains uncertain, and it does scare one sometimes. Probably the statement then is, देखा जाएगा. I'm enough.
Yeah.
I'm enough. Even the worst case scenario is not bad enough.
And I've tried to like understand that, and that's certainly the end statement that comes in mind. That okay, whatever will be, I'll look and
बुरे से बुरा क्या हो जाएगा, देख लेंगे.
right. And like sort of an follow up. Last time I got a chance to interact with you, and we had an online interaction at IT Madras. I think it's been about 2 or 2.5 years about on that. I told you about my point that like I chose physics because that's what I wanted to do, love, and sort of contribute. And uh, it's been that journey. As I told you, a deep tech startup I'm working on. So we are basically working in quantum sensing for early stage cancer detection. Uh, and yeah, I mean, like things were lot uncertain. And I'm currently at more or less survivability mode. So yeah, like things like what she says sort of gives me okay, like that again, like comes in mind.
See, when fear comes, don't let its face remain masked. It's coming to threaten you. Ask it to reveal its face. Don't just threaten me. Tell me who you are and what's the maximum you can snatch away.
Right.
That anonymity, that unspoken terror is worse. Let's clearly put it here in writing on the table. What is it that you can take away? All right, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. That's all? Is that all? Is that all? Fine. I'll manage. I'll still manage.
But I certainly should not look for that temporary.
Because there is nothing so scary
Yeah.
that you resort to depending on the unknown. And you don't really depend on the unknown. You raise some kind of imaginary benevolent support, which is never really going to materialize, which is never really going to assist. Far better than that is to cultivate your own strength.
Yeah.
Instead of imagining that there is an external power always available to support you in your distressed times, simply let your inner strength be unveiled. Isn't that far better?
Yeah.
Hmm? Let's say I'm a weak fellow, right? I'm a weak fellow. And the thought of being assaulted or threatened is always there.
Yeah.
I'll be harmed, I might be harmed. That thought is there. So, how do I then console myself? I say, oh, there, behind that rack,
I'll try
is
to hide.
an unknown friend. And when these goons come to threaten, attack, bully, that friend will miraculously appear from there, just from nowhere. Appear and come to defend me. That's one way of keeping yourself assured.
Yes.
The other thing is, I know these people might threaten me sometime. So what do I do?
I'll make myself strong enough.
No, no. and you are already strong enough. So the example is actually not good enough because when it comes to physical or financial ability or strength, it needs to be developed over time.
Right.
But when it comes to your intrinsic strength, you are already strong, just that you are carrying a notion of weakness and vulnerability. That notion has to be dropped. But the more you keep investing in an imaginary support, the more you will be nurturing your own notion of weakness and vulnerability.
Right.
Do you see this relationship? The more you invest in that, that imaginary power who will come over to help you and hold you in arms, and the more you
sort of an assurance that
the more you invest in that, the more you are actually investing in your weakness, inner weakness.
Yeah.
The less you invest in that, the more you find that your strength reveals itself.
that really makes sense. Thank you, Acharya. I'll just pick up a book.
Yeah.
And copy that. That's fine.
Pen, please.
Thank you so much.
So, sir, I just was going through the seventh chapter, the catching yourself red-handed. So, in this one, this line is there. It means to look at one's impulses, feelings, thoughts, desires, and actions. There is no other within to look at. I'm a little bit not getting this. Like, who is like there is no other means.
Most people believe in some fictitious entity within. So this line is there to challenge that. All that you have within is your own processes. So what does it say? Thoughts, feelings, impulses, actions. This is all that is within. There is nothing called a soul within. There is nothing called a self within. There is nothing called a flying jivatma within.
So it means like only we are like a compound of impulses, feelings, and all these.
And there is that which claims to be the owner of all actions and impulses and feelings and decisions and whatever. So there are these, and these, as you know, are chemical. And there is also something else which is a product of the body itself that claims to be the owner and the driver and the consumer of all those things, and that is called the self or the ego. It is fictitious because these things are not actually commanded by the ego. They are all biological and chemical. But for practical purposes, the ego does exist because that's the way we relate to each other. We all have a sense of self, the individual self. The I does exist. There is the world, and this is me. So that feeling is there.
Okay. So then, like when we catch ourselves red-handed, so then this will be like the visibility will, as the visibility will increase, the dissolution of ego.
One should not wonder about that. Just catch yourself in the moment. This is what I'm doing. This is what is happening within. Like an observer, like an experimenter. In an unbiased and neutral way, I can see what is happening. This is what is happening. And you see without caring for what's next, for the result. Just observe what is happening.
Sir, like with the experience, it becomes very difficult seeing unbiasedly. Like some inclination.
Then see that you are biased. Then see that you are biased. That's fine. That's what we are calling as catching yourself red-handed, right? I'm trying to be the unbiased observer, but here I just caught myself. I'm actually biased.
Yes, sir. So like how do we proceed towards like from catching step by step and then
It's not step by step, it's moment by moment. Because you are there every single moment of your life, right? The ego exists without a pause, right? I'm sleeping, I'm digesting, I'm rising, I'm falling, I'm saying, I'm hurt, all these things. That's a continuity. Therefore, the observation of the ego too has to be continuous.
Like with the experience, it occurs that the observation is like with pauses, with like like there will be breaks.
Decrease the frequency of the pauses. See, to know is your nature. It is not a particular doing. So it happens. It is not an extra activity. You do not say, I eat, I sleep, I walk, I read, and I observe. It's not another point in your to-do list. It's not another thing of action. It is light that falls on all the actions. It's not one of these books. It's the light that's illuminating every single book here and every single individual here. That's what observation is. So observation is not one thing. Observation is the light that enables you to look at anything. So you're continuously observing, just as we are doing this, we are doing that, but the light is
On
continuously on. So that's what observation is. The light must be continuously on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.